This will be my last video on real estate, what I discovered. Today's subject is, did you know you could be divorced in Ontario and most of Canada in secret without your even having the knowledge? True. Your spouse can disinherit you, cut in half your financial rights to real estate, and leave you owning only half the matrimonial home. If you were divorced, would that seem fair? But in Ontario and most of Canada, severance of joint tenancy on all real estate you jointly own, including the matrimonial home, in effect does the same thing as being divorced, because it's in secret, and as a registered owner in joint tenancy, you don't even have the right to know you've just been disinherited on half of your financial worth. And that's the same thing as being a divorce, except in a divorce, it would be different because you'd get notice. Severance of joint tenancy, this has been going on for over 2,000 years all over the world, but it's banned in all countries for almost 100 years, except in Canada. Now, the severance of joint tenancy is legal in secret without your even having the right to be notified. And nobody believes me and nobody wants to talk about it. But we're talking about millions of Canadians are in jeopardy of suddenly discovering when one of their spouse dies that they only own half of what they thought they owned. And that includes your joint bank account. My mother wouldn't believe me. I tried to warn her. She wouldn't listen to me and she wouldn't believe me. And she did lose everything that was in the joint bank account, and she lost half the inheritance. You know, when we become a senior, some of us get dementia and Alzheimer's, and my father became extremely paranoid and accused my mother of all kinds of nonsense that wasn't true. And behind her back, he went and did this. And this is a man who was in diapers, had 18 heart attacks, and she'd taken care of him like he was a baby. And our government thinks that's perfectly okay. So yes, your government, your members of parliament, your lawyers, they all think this is just fine. The injustice of such secret laws is in effect to rob you of any rights you have to protect yourself. Because at least if you find out, if you got a notice that you're going to lose half your financial worth, you can take steps to protect yourself. My mother didn't have that option. And this is happening to hundreds of thousands of people all the time, and nobody's paying any attention to it. Because our court system is so corrupt that I don't even want to go into it. I have a website that's got all the information, and I found ways that you can protect yourself on everything but this one. I don't know what you can do. You'd have to maybe sign a contract of some kind that no changes on title when you first marry, and who thinks of doing that? It's like a prenup. You can't, nobody does it. But this is really, really unbelievably unjust. And the fact that everybody is paying no attention to it just gives you an example of how the lack of democracy works in Canada. Registered owners have no rights whatsoever, and nobody wants to believe me. And I've documented all the evidence, and all the proof is on a free website, www.rights4realestate.com. It's pretty simple. Look it up. Protect yourself if you can. And this is the end for me. I can no longer fight this. I've been at this for too many years, and I'm too bankrupt, and I'm done. So what you do with the information, it's up to you.